Hello, everybody. Today we are on episode 48 of our Wixo series. This has been going crazy. In the last episode, we saw a bunch of events happen. Of course, the whole World War III thing, the World War III thing happened. Or is it World War IV? I'm not entirely sure. I'm not sure, but we'll just call this World War IV because why not? Anyways, we saw that starting. We saw a bunch of things happen in Europe. Not much happened in Africa because not much can happen here. But a bunch happened in the Americas, a bunch happened in Asia. Of course, Australia's doing its thing. But in this episode, we're going to see World War III continue, or World War IV continue, and see how it plays out for many of these countries. Make a quick announcement. Well, not me. Basically, the Cross Alliance is going to go ahead and, well, they're gonna say they're gonna disband after the war ends. Whether they win or whether they lose, they will disband. I'm not sure why they say they will if they will lose, but who knows what their thinking is. Maybe they will win. So coming over here to Michigan, we can see that the Brown team was we can see that the North Carolinians are gonna go ahead. What is that? They're gonna go ahead and will cut off Michigan from their part in Wisconsin. However, they aren't able to do too much as their main front is focusing down over here, and they once again are committing horrible acts against the elf populations or the non-human beings in this area. Um, that's just not very great. I mean, there is regular humans living here. Um, and also elves, and they're just not doing good stuff to the elves, but they support the humans, which is very interesting because the humans want the elves in rule because clearly they've been doing good. I mean, they have a whole Caribbean empire. It's the Florida and Georgian Union, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I just called it the Floridan Union, but yeah. The Lime team over here is having some difficulties as we can see that Michigan, well, with their greenness, is going to push back against this green and start to make a large offensive to take this whole land back, in which they do. However, this part of land stays and is actually just going to go ahead and get occupied by the brown team. Now, basically, what's happening here is Michigan wants to take out the lime team before they take out and help with the elves over here. Michigan is going to focus on this because it is a pretty important front. So they do connect up back with Lake Michigan and with their Wisconsinite part. Uh, so yeah. Remember, the old Michigan government was it used to be a fascist, but now it is a democracy due to, well, coalition and a civil war within. Something unexpected though was this: the yellow country right here is gonna go ahead and join in on the side of the Cross Alliance to get rid of fascism all around the world. The fascists have no support, while the democracies have a lot. And the yellow team, or the lime team, was not expecting this, and they swiftly get invaded by the yellow team very quickly, and their capital portion of their empire is cut off from their main part. And well, Michigan is, well, they're not going to focus on the lime team for now because they think that the yellow team can hold them off. Who knows if that'll be the case. However, they do make a small invasion. So America's plan is this: get rid of this guy, and this guy, make a stable front line with the Texans, and then knock out these guys. But with their plan kind of being foiled with the lime team collapsing, they kind of have to stretch out their lines a lot. And so they don't wanna do that because, well, they just don't wanna do that. So they're gonna add a member to their alliance. And it's not a fascist country, however, it is just a country in the region, that being the beige team. The beige team, I don't think they've done anything in their existence. But they're gonna go ahead and join in on the Circle Alliance because, well, America said so, and America is not the dominant power in this region. The dominant power is definitely the California Nevadan Union. Or no, oh my God, I keep saying California Nevada Union. It's the Californian Arizona Union, or I could just call it the West Coast, the Pacific Coast. I can call it that because, well, who knows? Maybe I can call this that soon too. Nah, that's Oregon. Anyways, the brown team is gonna try to get to the capital regions and the gate front lines of this capital. However, it is just not going successfully for them. Every time they try to do it, they get pushed back a lot, and well, an encirclement happens here, and the land is taken. And they relieve their capital for a couple more miles, which is something that they well wanted to do because they were getting progressively closer, and your capital about to be lost is well, obviously that's not a really good thing, especially by these. These guys' effect though is felt on the war. It's I would say it's like the same strength as this Arkansas country, so they will start to get invaded, and one of their major cities will be captured in the first couple of weeks of the war. However, it is hard to progress even more because, well, this front line is being heavily guarded. But I guess so is the Florida and Georgia Union. So some of the northern land is definitely not protected at all due to the fact that all their soldiers are in the Florida Union. So the white country slash beige country is able to take most of it, and well, that's a good thing, as they can knock out this country out of the war. The brown team is going to go ahead and occupy the rest, and then use that to invade or well, their enemies right here, and then they will start to well advance into this pink Louisianan country, and they do even cut them off from the Florida Union. So it shows America is actually a pretty strong country. Who would have known? The California and Arizona Union is going to push. Oh my God, I said California, Arizona Union. The Californian country, the Nevadan country, whatever you want to call it, the Las Vegas country. They're gonna push back against Oregon, a lot actually, especially on the coast, as well. That's not their main thing, and well, they get completely pushed to the border, and then they get completely pushed out of their country as they just start to get invaded a lot through this southern area right here. And the Oregoners, I don't know, I think that's what they're called, are not able to do anything about that because they're just not. So we can see that the Democrats down here are going to send a bunch of troops to go fight the purple team so we can get that distraction out of the way. And a couple more countries join the Cross Alliance around the way. Actually, that guy isn't, but this guy right here, the Dark Cyan team in Mexico, they will go ahead and join in, and their effects on this war also fall immediately. Nobody thought this was a powerful country militaristically, but it is. They are doing really good. Despite only having one major city, this country is actually doing really good military for themselves. And that's also mostly because obviously they're getting supplied, and well, this country, the purple Mexicans are well almost dead. So good good job on the war there, folks. Pretty sure there was a war here a couple episodes ago. And like I'm pretty sure there's a country right here that got completely destroyed. That may or may not have not ended in the favor of the purple team, which made them go fascist and do all this horrible stuff. Now down to this mess. Nordeste is gonna go ahead and push back, and I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. I'm pretty sure this region is called Nordeste. I don't really care if it's not though. And they just start to get pushed into, especially in this northern region. This was just a small military operation by a small group that was just in the area and did not know the war was starting. So Nordeste is able to completely push them back and push them right into their country, capturing two major cities, which is pretty good. So Guyana over here and Venezuela, they have a plan. Hold a defensive line right here and take out the annoying guy in the room, which is French Guiana, and they immediately get that plan to action and start pushing into French Guiana, taking the capital and taking most of the country, leaving this portion of Brazil still there. So you could also kind of call it Suriname too. Obviously, that will mean that Colombia does push back into Venezuela and will push into Venezuela, like I just Peru, what their plan is just to focus on Ecuador. So they're gonna go ahead and get rid of this and just occupy the rest of Ecuador along with Colombia. And but on the way though, this happens, so that's not good. Bolivia pushes completely Peru out of their land and even manages to get a small coastline. So that is very good for them. They now have a coastline they can trade with their allies. I mean, I'm pretty sure they were already doing that by plane, so I guess it doesn't really matter anymore. Yeah. Also, this will get updated at the end of World War IV. Paris will completely push the people out of their country. What is going on here? And so will the Southern French Union. And well, speaking of that, the Southern French Union is going to completely start their invasion of the Dutch Empire slash Union. No, not Union. This was never a union, but they just start their invasion, taking most of the French region modernly. Good for them. I mean, they're already pretty much the France of this universe. The Polish are going to be like, "What are you doing?" And the Polish don't know actually what they're doing because they were got invaded by the German country, but they're dead now. Yeah, bye Germany. Well, free Germany. There's still a yellow Germany here too. And well, they also decide why not? They just invade this country right here. Actually, I should make that just a lighter color. No, that's too similar. Oh, that is literally the same color. How did I do that? There we go. And well, they start help the pushing back of the Southern French Union, mostly. This front line is stable, however, this one is not going well for Greece, as they're just getting completely pushed back by the Ottomans, and they get fully pushed back and pushed back a lot. So now the Ottomans can focus on the eastern threat. However, that's better for Greece, as they can now focus on their northern threat and start pushing back very slowly against the raging Bosnians and push even deeper into the ravaging Bulgarians. So pretty cool. Also, hi country, you birthed fascism. Yeah, this country basically birthed fascism, even though the gold team did technically have ideals of fascism before it collapsed in World War II. The Cross Alliance is gonna help put what was that? The Cross Alliance is gonna help push back against the Bosniaks and especially push down into the south where an invasion of this peninsula right here occurs. However, deeper land gains are not achieved as well, what is that? As it just gets completely ran through, the city is captured as well. And these troops are encircled, so that is not a very good. However, the people over here, the Austrians, are gonna do something in their lives, and they're gonna start invading. So now this just looks really stupid, and it looks even more stupid now as these guys have just made an encirclement of these troops, even though they can just flee back there. So this is really stupid. Also, if you're wondering what Sicily is doing, they're just chilling. Malta is right here. So Egypt, Arabia, this country right here, and a bunch of these African countries have a plan, which is to get rid of the Middle Eastern front, which was the starting front of this whole war anyway. And that is just Egypt and Persia, this Persia, which is also kind of South Azerbaijan. South Azerbaijan and Egypt have a plan, which is to cut through the middle of the Syrian Union and completely get rid of them, severing their supply lines, and, well, just making sure that, well, Arabia also goes in on this plan. So this plan is eventually ensued, and the Egyptians do great in fighting against the Syrians, taking a lot of land. And then they go forward with their plan, which is to cut across and make a spearhead through Syria. Syria was not expecting this, and well, that is not really good if you're not expecting that big of a thing. And well, these countries get very close, and they even start invading and going off track a little bit, which is still good. That's more land, but that's also not the right way. Going the wrong way, and they get really close to the capital. Turns out Syria wasn't a very strong country, even though, as you can see, the former Cypriots, which you can see with purple, were here, but they're now blue. So yeah, the blue team also contributes on this and starts taking a little bit of land. And they also just are transferred a city, so now they have a major city. Actually, now they have two major cities, so good for them. And well, this country is getting completely destroyed. However, a problem that the people didn't see is these guys, the Cyan, the what are these guys called? The Caucasians. They did not see them starting their invasion of Iran or South Azerbaijan, so that's not a good thing. And this plan has to go way faster. But this time, Arabia sends troops to Egypt, and Egypt's troops become like way, way, way more. There's way more Egyptian troops, and this is actually able to knock out all of this area of Syria right here, and it eventually even knocks out the whole thing of Syria. and all this land is transferred to the Egyptians and slash technically the Arabians too, because they were the ones who helped with this. But it was a major fall within the Syrian government. Where have we seen that? And the leader got assassinated. The country fell in turmoil, and it was just occupied by Egypt very quickly. And well, now they can focus on the Ottomans and well, these guys right here, which will be a very big problem, as they're pretty strong. It just turns out Sri Lanka isn't pulling their weight, as they're just kind of getting completely destroyed by the North Indians. It's not, what is that? It's not going very well for them. They're getting destroyed on these front lines, which is obviously not a good thing. And well, that's further proven by this. So, good luck. The South Chinese also seem to not be pulling their weight, as they just can't get farther into the brown team or the purple team, as supply lines are stretched. And well, they even start to get pushed back on these front lines, especially in the coastal ones, as it is just not going well for them. And they actually even get invaded by the purple team here, which is not a good thing. Very bad thing. Even the Philippines make a landing on Hainan and take the whole island. So that's not good for China. They just lost, or South China. They lost a very important island, a very strategic island. Apparently have no major cities on it. I don't know whose fault that is. Not mine. But in the Middle East, a very strategic event and a very great event happens for the Cross Alliance. And, well, that is a numerous amount of countries joining their alliance. The purple team does right here, the orange team does right here, and even the brown team does. The brown Iranians haven't done anything in like 30 episodes, and, well, they're back. They want revenge on, well, these guys, and even on these guys for just being fascist. And then that's when it hits. A numerous amount of countries start joining in on the Cross Alliance, and that is pretty much everywhere, coming down, especially in Asia, where a lot of countries just don't want to see a future with the whole, the whole fascist front. So many countries join, and well, this is a very big painkiller. And well, no, this is just a very bad thing for the fascists. They have not a lot of support left in the world. They're fascists, so I wonder why what that would be. Oh yeah, it's kind of funny. I'm having two big wars happen in both of my series. This one and the fantasy one. So the purple team in the Iranian region will be focused on you, while these two will be focused on a big threat right here called well, Persia. And they start getting ran through. It's not a very nice thing that's happening. It's very gruesome. Well, I mean, it's war, so obviously it's gruesome. But it's just not going well for them. The purple Iranians, the Persians, are just not doing well. The North Indian Federation won't hop on this because, well, first of all, they're focusing on a bigger threat down south, and also because I mean the brown team already has three major cities. They could just solo this whole country if they really wanted to. And of course, now Arabia is helping. They're putting half their troops into the Ottoman in this front line, and then another half of their troops in this front line. So that's a pretty good thing. And also, the whole entirety of Africa is pretty much fighting on this front line, this front line. And that's mostly it. This is a little bit more contested over here. So maybe they have all these major cities because of Africa. Africa is just a large manpower boost for this. I mean, both countries already have four major cities under their belt in the invasion. That must mean they're doing pretty good. Not realizing that a bunch of countries could just randomly join, Tibet starts to get invaded by the orange Central Asian country that's kind of in like the Kyrgyzstan area. I know it's Tibet and there's mountains, but I don't really care. Over here in well, this region, we can see that all of this land is just gonna go ahead and fall, and well, honestly, this is too. This None of this was really uh gonna survive anyway. This is a very weak country, especially compared to this. I mean, this looks weak. It's not as weak as what this one though, even though it looks way stronger because it's way bigger. But honestly, that is gonna end today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. It felt short to me, but it's 19 minutes, so this is a longer recording than normal. I just want to say I love how this war is going. this is obviously this is just what I want to do on here on YouTube. Um, but anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video, which will probably be a fantasy video. I'm not entirely sure. But I gotta attend this Aegis Pro live stream, so who really cares? But anyways, I'll see you guys in the